What's up? You're watching Money Moves with Nick, and I'm lounging on the sofa today because the sun was in my eyes at my desk and I can't really see anything. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is my long-term philosophy for building wealth. Okay, so in the short term, in the younger years, or if we have not built anything yet, what we want to do, and this is what I'm doing, so I'm not like preaching something that I'm not doing. I want to have as really high risk, very aggressive strategies while I'm young. And my goal is to eventually get to the most conservative point. Okay, so let me just clarify this point. The goal of life and wealth building for me is stability and maintaining what we have. Okay, it's to be safe in any environment, even if the economy collapses or anything like that. So the goal for me is to provide the maximum amount of security, the most amount of risk mitigation that I possibly can. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that, and what I'm doing to attain that, okay? By the end of my life, or in the next couple years, or whenever I can, my goal is to play it as conservative as possible, okay? So what's happening is we have good times and we have bad times in life, and we don't know what the bad times are going to be. We don't know when they're going to be, but I can assure you right now we're in good times, okay? If you look at the stock market, if you just think about the last 15 years economically, I mean, we are in some good times. There's money to be made. AI, we're in a good time right now, okay? We are in an economic boom. We are in a new age of finance, and the goal is to ride that wave, okay? But you have to understand that this wave is not going to exist forever. And when the wave comes crashing down, what are you going to do? Are you still riding hopes and dreams? Or do you have a foundation set up that is there to provide stability? So what do I mean by that? I'm not a doomsday preacher or anything like that, and I want to stay away from fear, using any sort of fear to make decisions. But I just want to let you know that the Great Depression really happened one time, okay? So that was about 100 years ago. Newsflash, the Great Depression is real, all right? Now, a lot of people had a lot of suffering and things like that in their lifetime. Because of that, they had a lot of struggle. And let's just pretend that one of those happens every 100, 150 years or so. It's possible that another thing like that is maybe going to happen in our lifetime. I'm not going to prophesy anything or whatever. I'm just saying it's possible, okay? We always have to think about the ups and downs of life and the positives and negatives, okay? And 20 years from now, if that happens, what are you going to do? Are you going to have a foundation, or have you dug your well before you're thirsty, or are you going to be fucked, okay? So how do I describe how to fix this problem? My goal, to be conservative, is I want to be able to survive off-grid. I want to be able to produce my own food. I want to be self-sustaining. I want to have a homestead. Maybe a commune with a bunch of my friends or family members or people that I care about, okay? Because when the world comes crashing down, I'm not saying it is, what are you going to need to survive? Money could go out the window. What if money did not exist anymore? Money could go out the window. The only thing that you need to survive is shelter, food, potentially weapons, or safety, some sort of safety. And I want to be able to be a slave to no man. And when I say be a slave to no man, I want to mitigate my property taxes. I want to have to pay as little taxes as possible. I want to be able to have, resources where I can cover whatever ongoing expenses go. So if the economy collapses or whatever, and the dollar crashes, in value, do I at least have some sort of stockpile of that maybe where I can at least pay my property taxes and I can maintain that? Because if I don't, guess what? Tax lien. And guess what happens with tax liens? Somebody gets your house for the price of the taxes and your land. So you want to be able to have stability and be able to not have that risk happen. So long term, if we're playing this conservatively, we want the least amount of government control and control from other people. And we don't want to rely on the economy. We want to rely on ourselves because the future's in our hands, not the economy's. People trust the economy like it's their god, or the stock market like it's their god. And the reality is one day your god is going to let you down. But you, if you've set yourself up correctly, are not going to let yourself down because you've set the foundations for a successful life. All right. And I even want to share this with you guys. Where did this idea come from? Now, if you're not religious or don't care about that, that's fine. I just want to share something that provided me mindset. In the book of Revelation, there is this talk, and this is a prophetic book or whatever, so to speak. There's talk about, it sounds like they are predicting some sort of government control, one world government or whatever. And there's a specific verse or phrase that says something along the lines of, you're controlled by buying and selling. No one will be able to buy or sell without taking the mark of the beast, is exactly the way it's phrased. And I am not talking about any sort of antichrist beast or anything right now. I'm just talking about this as a concept. How do people control you? They control you with your money and the economy. So we need to separate ourselves from that in order to be able to be wealthy and free. So the economy at one point may become your master if you do not learn to homestead, if you do not take the good times now and transmute that into skills and land and things like that, and community. Because you know what's even better about the money thing, about conserving our money? It's living a life of happiness with our friends, with the wealth, using the wealth that we were blessed with to live a life of safety and security with a bunch of people that we care about. That's my TED Talk for the day.